So, what do you think about the smart watches? Do you think that Google might come with their own watch, like Apple Watch, Samsung Watch, LG, Motorola? What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, the smartwatch market is really, really interesting. I'm using loads of these devices. There's a Sony one here. I've got a one from Basis. I've got the Apple Watch on this wrist. I've got the Pebble Time. In fact, I've got about 20 different smartwatches that I've been using over the last 2 years. My assessment is that this is the very beginning of the journey. It's a bit like mobile phones back in the late 1980s, early 1990s, when the market was experimenting about what these devices would be. Now, I'm seeing an awful lot of news and rumours about Apple Watch being a flop or a failure, and I find these quite difficult to understand. I certainly accept that Apple Watch probably hasn't hit expectations in terms of numbers, but even if they've sold 2 or 3 million devices already, that's the most successful smartwatch of all time. And if they go on to sell multiple millions of devices this year, that's a business which is worth a few $1 billion. And companies like HTC, who lost $250 million in the last quarter alone, I'm sure would be delighted if they had an Apple Watch they could sell. What about the market? I think it's still very much a category where it's kind of a solution looking for a problem. There are some nice things about smartwatches. The fact that you can see who's calling you, get updates, text alerts, notifications from social media, those sorts of things. That's quite interesting. However, it's not. It doesn't really change my daily life. Interestingly, today, or this week, Apple Pay has launched here in the UK, where I'm based, and that's certainly an area where you start to see added value on top of the watch itself. You can tell the time, you can tell me who's calling, but when I can actually tap and pay for something in a store, that adds something that does make my life a little bit easier, and it's faster than getting my wallet out of my pocket and selecting the card that I want to pay with. So we're at the beginning of a journey with wearables. Personally, I think most of them are pretty poor right now. I don't think we've found the applications that really resonate with consumers and can help them justify the purchase of the device. But I think that it's too early to write the category off, and I think we're going to see some interesting developments in the future.